Hi, I'm James Anderson. I'm here to present the critical opportunity in public health law, at least for more research, in reducing crime by encouraging residential zoning in commercial areas. Next slide, please. So first, does crime impact public health? Well, I'm probably preaching to the converted here. It clearly impacts public health in a variety of ways. There's the latest direct estimates of cost of crime are something like $8.6 million per homicide. There's also a range of secondary crime effects, the lack of community efficacy to both prevent additional crimes and also conceivably prevent different forms of environmental pollution, increased gun ownership and risk of accidental shootings, decreased willingness to use outside space for exercise and contributes to childhood obesity and diabetes, and increased likelihood of mental health disorders or post-traumatic stress disorder from various kinds of trauma. Next slide, please. So one of the first threshold questions is, well, why not just use the criminal law? Why are we talking about messing around with the land use law to affect crime? Well, as anybody who's actually practiced criminal law or worked in the criminal justice system, it doesn't always work to use criminal law to reduce crime. And it is at least a useful adjunct, and in some cases perhaps an alternative, to really look at other methods of using the law, somewhat unconventional methods, to reduce crime. So in this case, we studied 205 street blocks in Los Angeles and found that blocks that had mixed use and that had some residential-only zoning on the block had substantially lower crime rates than blocks that were commercial-only. So how does law fit in this picture? Well, obviously land use law shapes the built environment and the physical environment and shapes the kinds of developments that are permitted in a particular way and can be altered relatively easily to shape the pattern of development that occurs. Next slide. So here comes to perhaps the weakness of our position, which is that the evidence base for this is still relatively scanty. We think this is a very promising first finding, but it would be helpful to replicate it elsewhere, particularly in a sort of Eastern-style city. We looked at Los Angeles, and as I'm sure you know, Western cities have sort of a different history of development than Eastern cities do. Next slide. If in fact, though, that this sort of pans out, it's a remarkably easy legal change to implement. It's relatively easy to change zoning codes, at least to shape the way that development occurs in the future. Sort of retrofitting residential-only developments into blocks that are currently zoned for commercial-only would be more difficult. Probably landowners would resist. However, if the sort of crime prevention effects of this became well enough established and well enough known, the resistance might drop because the lower crime may in fact increase the value of the property. Thank you very much.